Alright, so I'm going to make a video of how to connect the RP4-CH11 to, which is these pieces, to the wiring harness for a universal join. Now this will work with any aftermarket car essentially, but in my case I'm using a join, right? These are big, thick chunks here. You can't put those in there. I don't think it's the same size, so I'm just going to straight cut them all off. So I'm going to try to give myself as much room as possible. So I'm going to cut it off here. That didn't work great. It was too big. Alright, lesson learned. I tried to chunk off too much at once. So now this is what I had to work with for the join side. This I won't need. I can just toss this in the trash. Now on the back side, this piece will plug into here, but I don't need this right now. For now, I'm gonna set this piece apart because I don't need it right now. What I'm gonna use are these Klein Tools strippers. I'm gonna use this to crimp and cut, obviously, and I'm just gonna use these little butt connectors. I have a soldering gun. That's the better way to do it, of course, but I'm in Kentucky and it's hot as shit right now, so I'm not gonna do that. I know you can solder inside, but I don't like to do it. I like to do it outside, and it's just way too hot. So essentially, we're gonna look at this guide here and match it up. So this came with the join, and this came with obviously the pack. So we're gonna match these up. There's a little guide I'm gonna put on the tail end of this video that some guy made on WranglerForum.com, and I'll just post that up for reference point. But so the easiest way to start out with is obviously the speaker wires, the purple, black, green, black, white, gray, all that's going to be the same, right? So look, so white, and white, black is going to be front left. So front left is white, black, and white. So that's pretty easy to start with, and that'll make your wiring less of a mess, right? So let's just start out on the far side here. We have the purples and grays and white. So these should be probably around, 20 gauge, something like that. So I usually start. You just need a little bit. So a little bit, maybe a little more than that. We'll see. And I'm using the 16. No, I'm using the 18 gauge hole. Alright, so there's the wire on the join side, and I'll find a similar gray wire on the gray wire on the pack side. Alright, on this, so we have these here. This is the pack harness. There's two pack harnesses. Make sure you get the right one. This one's the rounded one. That's the one for my Jeep. My Jeep's a 2016 Jeep Wrangler. So we're getting solid gray, not gray black. So here's gray black, here's solid gray. We'll go ahead and trim that back. I buy a bunch of these because I always end up losing them and messing up a couple of them. So buy a large pack if you can. They're pretty cheap anyhow. So if you never used one of these before, they go different gauge sizes. I always use this 1822, these pink ones. And essentially, there's a little metal bar hole inside there, right? Or metal tube. And you basically want this side to touch this end, and this side to touch the other end. So this wire is stiffer on the pack, has better wiring, I believe. So I'll stick that one in first. You can see it goes inside there. There's a little ball indent looking thing that's the center of it. And then I usually give them a little twist or so. And let's take this wire inside there. And when you're holding it stiff, you get something to just crimp it down with. So you can see it says non and insulated. This is insulated, so you want to use the bottom part. And I usually crimp both sides. both sides of that little indent ball thing. You want to try to hold the wire in there the best you can. And then give it a little tug to make sure it's nice and tight in there. Alright, so that is the gray, solid gray. So now we're going to do the gray black. You can see the thin black line there. I'm doing this at an awkward angle, so hopefully all this comes up on video properly. So there's gray black on the join side. And let me go ahead and trim it back. You should be wearing safety glasses. I'm not. Alright, so gray black. You can do it without one of these. I did for years, but these are not that expensive and they make it a whole lot easier. So alright, so we got these wires. You try to keep them neat as you can because that'll help it easier to, so you don't get the wires all twisted up together. It'll make it easier to work with later on, but it's certainly, I've messed it up plenty of times before. So alright, so you can see I have a little tool on there because you can see a little sticking out. You can see inside there. I'm going to leave it like that because I'm going to melt these down and it'll be fine, but ideally you want that to just butt up perfect to it. Like this one did. Pretty good on this side. Yeah, kind of got to hold it in place while you crimp it. Alright, crimp both sides down, give it a little tug. It's in there nice and tight. I'll take a lighter or a heat gun and shrink these up when I'm done towards the end, but of course I'm going to test it first because you're going to have to cut it off if it doesn't work right. Alright, so next on this side we're going to do the purples. So I'm going to do solid. I'm going to try to do solid first and then black stripe second. So as I said, I'm doing this for a 2016 Jeep Wrangler and a universal join head unit. There's lots of these Android head units. Some of them have their own pre-built wiring. You can always cut them out and use a pack if you wanted to try it that way as well. So like a lot of times people that have the Alpine system, I found it doesn't work great, but they're built-in CAN bus adapters from the Chinese head units. But when I wire it up with a pack like this, it works much better. Alright, so we got that one in there. Sometimes if you want, you can give it a double crimp. It won't necessarily hurt anything as long as you don't tear it to pieces. Make sure I got it. Now I'm going to do the purple black, but I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the speaker wires, and then I'll turn this back on. Alright, so now I've finished all the regular speaker wires. Give them a little double check. They're all nice and tight. Everything's looking good. So we have all these guys now taken care of. When I get done, I test it to make sure it's working. I'll tape everything up. So let's see what else we have. We have a blue, which is an antenna controller. So let's just see. I don't need that. I know off the bat I don't need that for the Jeep because the Jeep doesn't have a powered antenna. So I don't think there's an option here on this wiring. I don't see it. Oh, there's an antenna on input. So there's a blue. So this antenna on input. And there's this solid blue on the join. The join is called Ant Cont. And a solid blue on the pack module. So I don't think I need it, but either way, I'm going to go ahead and do it because it'll be easier to bundle everything up if they're all connected. And who knows, maybe I do need it. I'd rather have it wired up and not need it than to go out there and something not work. So again, it's a solid blue, not a blue white, which is also in here. got the antenna taken care of. Orange black is amp. On this guy, amp. Cont. Assume continuous power or controller, I'm not positive. On here, the amp is a blue-white amp turn on input. So again, I don't think I need this one because I don't have the amplifier in my Jeep. I don't have the built-in Alpine amplifier. I don't have anything right now. I'm gonna have an aftermarket subwoofer, and then I will need something to turn on, but I don't think this is relevant for my Jeep, but I'm gonna go ahead and wire it up just because I'm here, right? So again, the orange black here, and the blue white here. Yep, see, I almost did the wrong one. Blue white, not orange white. The mix up of colors threw me off for a second. Alright. So now I should have knocked out all these wires. Green, black, green, purple, white, black, all the way down here. So now all we have was these top ones. So let's start with yellow. Is battery. And that's going to be this yellow fat one on the joining side. And so yellow is battery, and on the pack it's also yellow is battery. So there's a big fat yellow one on the pack side as well. Alright, yellow's good. Now we're going black to ground, which, so we get a little messy in here now. So let me pull this one out. On the joining side, there's a big fat black wire right next to the yellow one, so that's the one that's going to ground. And alright, so get the fat side on the black on the, you can see here, black is ground on the pack side as well. Alright, so got that wired up. So now we have the black and yellow. So the blue white is the brake on the joining side, which is this black side. And it actually is labeled brake. So on the pack side, parking brake is going to be red white. So it's a little confusing because there's navigation output and this one, but red's accessory and red white is parking brake. So it's going to be in this navigation output bundle, but I think that's the correct one. Alright, on the joining side, of course, it says brake, so that's helpful. Alright, so we got that tied up. So let's go next to our join. The red solid is going to be accessories. The solid red guy on the joining side. And on the pack side, solid red is also accessory. So that's going to be this little single stub guy poking out here. Alright, it's nice and tight. Toy. We're getting down to the end here. So we've done blue, white, we've done red. So now orange on the joining side, it says back. So on the joining side, there's an orange white and an orange one that says back. So obviously we want just the one that says back. On the pack, I'm gonna assume that's the green for reverse output. I'm gonna assume that's also in this navigation bundle there's a solid green wire. So here we go, we have solid green, and on this side we have back. I guess since it's green back, I should tell you all to buy stuff from my Amazon links and eBay links so I can get them green backs. Right? At this point I kind of wish I soldered it because my back is hurting like hell from being in this weird position, but it's also hard to film that. Alright, so now all we have left is orange white, which is illumination. So on the join side, we have this orange white wire. And on the PAC side, we also have an orange white wire, which is the one I stripped open earlier by accident. Alright, nice and tight right there. So now, all we have left is the pink and brown on the join side. And I believe that is correct. So, pink is key 2, and the brown is key 1. Everything else should be nice and tight, tied up already. On the PAC side, we have a loose purple-white wire, which is vehicle speed output, which the Jeep doesn't do, Jeep Wrangler. But we're not done yet. So as part of this PAC interface is here, and this guy plugs in, this little piece here plugs in. A lot of times you'll plug this into the head unit. On these Android head units, that's not how it works. So leave that little plastic cap on there. Take this lone blue and yellow wire. And then key 1, the brown wire on the join. We're going to trim that back. And we're going to splice them two together here. And then that should retain steering wheel controls. Alright. Now it's not done yet. You still have to set this. If you look at the PAC instructions, if you have a standard head unit like my Sony or my Alpine that I previously installed, you just set this dial to one of their numbers and you're done pretty much. There's a little number in there that you move and change it to. Right now it's set to 0. We're going to use number 7, Pioneer Other. So you gotta find something small to stick in there, crank it over to number 7. You're still not done. Then we need to go through these steps where you have to wait for it to beep, this light to flash a couple times, and then you got to program these. But I'll walk through that in the Jeep itself once it's hooked up. Alright, so we're going to test these, make sure it works. If it does work, I'm going to take a lighter or a heat gun, shrink all these guys down, and then I'll wrap it up with some Tessa tape, make it look all pretty like. And then I'm going to cap off this purple guy and tape all this stuff up nice and pretty. And then of course my camera, backup camera goes in there, and then we'll program this guy, and this piece plugs into here. So it says set radio select switch before connecting vehicle harness, which makes no sense. I don't know why that makes a difference, but we will do that. Alright, thanks for checking me out. Alright, and then we need to make sure we set this guy to 7. I'm just using a little tiny screwdriver. Probably not the best way to do it, but so now you can see we're on 7, which is the one that was for other, Pioneer Other. So we can take this sticker off. So now that we have that off, we can plug in the back piece to it right here. It only goes in one way. It's nice and snug in there. Now, essentially, now remember, we don't worry about this piece. We should plug this into here, and then the other piece into the join, and it should be fine. And all I really have left is this piece. So let me go ahead and plug it into the join. That's this plug into here. It goes in there pretty stiffly, so trying to get it right the first time because this doesn't come out super easy. Alright, and then as soon as I plug this in, I should see a light on here. Right there's a light. So this tells me it's working. I still got to program it, but first I'm just going to kind of slap this in here. Alright, so what I need to do now is program. So if I go to wheel key study, settings, there we go. So now, so I press up, press and hold the button on the steering wheel to learn, and now press the, so this should, on the left hand side should be my track change button. So I'm going to do this one. Now press down, should be this button, and then the volume should be this button. Volume down, this button, and I'm going to play pause to be my VR button, and then the phone button I guess will just be phone button. Now let's see, let's go. Alright, so let's give it a shot. Let's go back to the radio. I want to try the track change button. It does seem to work. And now the volume controls work fine as well. I'll hit the Bluetooth button and see if it takes me. It does take me to the phone app. So that's pretty good. Alright, thanks.